This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You have a rich person's name. Like, you should be a billionaire with the name Winfield.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
Checking the microphone. It's going good.
It is November 11th, 2022. It's Veterans Day. My name is Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Marnie is off tonight, but I have two very special guests joining me on Discord. Is my man Adam Brothers, and joining me on the phone is our man Tyrone Hatcher. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Winfield.
All right, you guys ready to talk some recovery?
We are. We've showed up and dressed for work.
Yeah, and like you, Adam, obviously are on Discord, which is something that we normally do on Tuesday nights, which is a lot of fun. And once you can figure it out, it can be fun. And I'm right there with you guys. I have to switch audio stuff over pretty much every week. Tyrone, you had a very difficult time getting on Discord, but I don't want to discourage other people.
No,
so
don't discourage them.
It's worth it. Like Adam, you're living proof it can be figured out.
Yes, it can be figured out, and it actually works really well. You know, so I like it. I like it a lot, and I hope we keep doing it.
I think we will. It's very nice. How is your podcast coming along?
It's coming along well. We've got 4 episodes, and coming up on the 5th episode, and this week we're gonna be talking about fear and anxiety in recovery and prior to recovery and what that looks like, and it's gonna be a good one.
Tyrone said he listened to your first episode.
Ah, good. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, Mr. Brother.
Yeah. Tyrone and I actually, this is our third attempt at a podcast today. We did one earlier on Zoom, and then my doctor called.
Oh, okay.
And since I have my big colonoscopy, which we'll talk about here in a minute, then I was like, I better answer this. So I answered it, and it was just some stupid like questionnaire about, hey, does your booty hurt and stuff like that. You know, press 1 if it doesn't. You know, and then so we started over and we started it again, and then Marnie called in, and so I was like, okay, well, let's get Marnie in. So then we just were like, all right, we got to stop it, and figured we'd do it again later. So here we are, third time's a charm.
Third time is a charm. Plus, I'm here, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, you can add some insight.
Brother.
But earlier, Tyrone was talking about how finding housing can be such a crazy anxiety-building monster, you know, and how it took him forever to find a place. And once he found a place to live, now he's like, I'm not leaving ever, because it was such a hard thing to go through, you know?
Yeah.
And you, Adam, were in Nathan's house, same place I was. Like, talk about your, well, you guys both, I want you to talk about your journey to actually finding a place to live.
Oh, I see. That's a good one. Well, my journey from Nathan's house was a little bit different. When I left Nathan's house, Sean and I were together, and we ended up moving in together. And, but then during the relapse, I had a relapse in my first year, and I left everything, and I ended up homeless and was in a homeless shelter for a minute, and over in Alpena, and it's a really great place over there. And they told me that it's at least a year to get to an apartment, and that's with help with housing. You know, I had all the paperwork, I had everything signed, I had everything done. And I had free housing, but I couldn't find an apartment. It was crazy. I had him willing to pay first and last month's rent. Even with that help, I couldn't find a place. So I ended up living in my truck, you know, because I was of course actively drinking. So I got kicked out of the homeless shelter for drinking, and I ended up living out of the back of my truck. You know, until for about 2.5 months. You know, I'm that old living in a van down by the river. That was me, except it was a pickup truck.
Man,
So, yeah, but someone say you're the lucky one, that you had a truck.
Yeah, I am the lucky one. I did have a truck. I thank God for that truck.
Yeah.
Because that was my
I
house
remember
for a
that.
while.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tyrone, you did not have a truck, but you ended up going to a shelter yourself. What about that experience you would like to share with other people in the world?
Oh man, Winfield. I think you helped me. You helped me find the shelter. I remember, but it's the shelter I went to. Man, Winfield, it's a circus there. I don't recommend nobody going there, especially if you're trying to stay clean. Man, because them woods, that's a terrible, terrible out there, Winfield. But if the housing, finding the housing out there, you have to almost do it yourself. Yeah, because it's hard finding housing in Traverse City. I had the tip of the mitt. I had a voucher, and I had to come way out to East Jordan. You have to move. You have to move away from Traverse City time. It was hard because I just got out of jail then, and nobody didn't want to accept that.
Yeah.
So
you guys made it though. Like you had some hard times. Because the name of this podcast is Friday Night Fun. We're not really having too much fun, man.
Love it. No, it's fun. Recovery is fun.
And Winfield, I have to say this. Adam's brother, he was the last one to see me when I got arrested.
I was.
Yeah.
I was talking to him.
And then you called me.
Yeah.
Well, sure did. I remember. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, and we both, because you called me as well. Adam and I we talked about that. We had the same reaction. We were like, Tyrone, shut up.
Quit talking.
Yes. Like, wait, where are you at? In the back of the cop car. Okay, shut up. Don't say a word.
Yeah.
But I have the actual evidence. I have the videotape of it all.
Oh.
It's great. We'll have to watch some. Well, hey, we'll invite everybody over and we'll watch it. We'll do a screening of that.
I'll come over.
Get some popcorn. We see, because that's the thing though, is like if you watch the tape, you can see that they kind of violated Tyrone's rights, because he says to him immediately, like, he's not saying anything and to take him to jail. That's his right to remain silent.
That's his right to remain silent.
The cop kept acting like he was like buddy with Tyrone. Like, oh, Tyrone, just tell me what you were doing. Just tell me what was going. Tyrone, just tell me. And after like the 50th time, Tyrone was like, here you go, here, fine. But after Tyrone said, I'm not saying anything, take me to jail, they can't use any of that in court. And that's where they screwed up. But, it's hard. Tyrone's a minority up here. And, just in the country alone, he's a minority. But up here, especially up in northern Michigan, and, the way they did it was so dirty and so wrong. And it's like they couldn't even use what he had told them after he said that. So they couldn't use that in court against him. So they had absolutely nothing against him. And what they were trying to charge him with was all based on what he told them, so it was really, 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 really messed up. And if there's a lawyer out there that really wants to earn some easy money, give Tyrone a call, because it's slam dunk case. Like, I mean, they wouldn't even take it to court. You could probably get $1 million or maybe $2-3 million out of them. So just throwing it out there.
Throwing it out there.
I'll say the evidence for 1.2 mil. Or you can just go get it for $80, but I already have it. Yeah, Tyrone, then you can buy a boat.
Yeah, boy, oh man. Man, maybe I should buy that convertible with brothers got.
Buy like 2 or 3.
He likes the Mustang.
Yeah. No, so how is East Jordan, Tyrone? What is that like living in East Jordan?
It's all right. It's quiet out here. As a matter of fact, they're building up some more apartments out here.
Huh.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet, and it's all right. It's how you make it. It's how you make it. But you got to stay clean. Pay your bills, and you'll be okay.
I kind of have a problem with where Adam lives.
Where did Adam stay? Where you stay, Adam?
I live in Gaylord.
See, that's my problem right there.
Oh, he's right about me.
What's
isn't
wrong
he?
with Gaylord?
Well, hey Tyrone, do you got a pen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spell something for you, and I want you to write it down. And I want you to pronounce it.
Okay.
Oh, I see what it's
GAYLORD.
Oh,
How you say that?
Gaylord.
Gaylord. But you could change that though.
What?
You go Lord Gay.
What?
But say the name of that word I just spelled out, Tyrone.
Yeah, that's kind of
Gaylord.
The happy Lord.
But somehow they want to put a lurd on there.
Lord.
No, it's Gaylord. It's not Gaylord. It's Gaylord. No.
Gaylord. Oh,
Yeah, it's Gaylord.
No.
Yeah, like that.
no.
It's Gaylord. You live in Gaylord, Michigan.
So
Unless you're from here, and then you say Gaylord.
But it's not. It's still not Gaylord. Change the damn spelling of the word then. If somebody in Gaylord is like all upset because they live in Gaylord, change it. If you guys are so anti-gay people or whatever it is that people in Gaylord are going through,
Oh my goodness!
change it.
That's
Put an
funny.
E in there. Put a U in there. But it's
Start a
Gaylord.
petition. I'll sign up.
Well, until you do that, it's Gaylord. You know, that's just facts. It's facts and facts. You
It's on the map.
can't say it's the French pronunciation because it's not. There's nothing. It's O-R-D. Ord. Gaylord.
But you know, Bob Adam Brothers got things together there. They be my
Gaylord.
shovel buddy.
Oh, you mean Adam Brothers? It's not
Yeah,
brothers.
he be my shovel
It's
buddy. He
brothers.
showed me all the ropes.
Adam Brothers showed you the ropes. I don't know Adam. I don't know Adam Brothers. I know Adam Brothers. He lives over there in Gaylord. They don't pronounce O's.
I know I speak like a hick.
Tyrone Hatcher. That's how they say your name
That's
in
his new name
Gaylord.
from now on. We're gonna call him Tyrone.
Tyrone Hatcher. Wouldn't that piss you off, Tyrone?
I'd be pissed,
Yeah.
Tyrone.
Yeah, but
I'm Curry Winfield.
yeah.
We don't have
People
O's
talk
in
like
Gaylord
that. I've heard real people talk like that, man.
because you live in Gaylord.
Gaylord.
Yeah, Mr. Brothers was a hard worker. He used to work for Lee Rainey.
Lee Rainey, that's right.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, you guys, because
Yeah,
when
listen,
you okay, at least for all three of us, we went to treatment, then we went to sober living afterward, and I always tell the guys that are in like treatment, when you get out and you go to sober living, don't get out and try to land your dream job. You know, like land on your feet. Learn. You're in sober living to learn how to live sober. That's the only purpose. You're not gonna go out there and try to buy a big old house or try a big old car or try to date the hottest. No, you're in there for a reason. You're trying to get on your feet and you're trying to learn how to live sober. But at the same time, it's got to be something that you want to do, something that you like to do. And hey, man, if rinse do. You got to go, work at a restaurant. You got to work at a restaurant. But if you have options, you can. Okay, I have to start washing dishes. Chris Goss is an example of this. I wish he would join us on this podcast. I sent him a link. But he started out washing dishes and doing whatever at this place. And he kind of liked it. He had kind of fun with staff. But he didn't like it because he'd have to work 3 times as much as everybody else just to make money. But then he ran into Lee Rainey. And Lee was like, hey, you guys come shovel for us. And you can make some good money. And he started to. And then like Tyrone went out there a few times. But even you did that, Adam, and sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But if you hate it, don't keep doing it, because that'll drive you right back into drinking again.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, you guys are the ones that did it. How was that shoveling? Because like shoveling snow, I would say probably not up my alley.
Well, you see, me and Tyrone, we work together. and we were the salt crew, so we didn't really shovel snow. we didn't pick up a shovel. Not us.
Oh, is that why Randy didn't like it?
Yeah, Randy hated it. I told him to get off my job. Yeah, he made me mad. But yeah, the job itself, we found another guy that was there with me. I don't remember his name. He was there so quickly. He found the job on Facebook. It was Lee had posted it on Facebook. And then him and I started working, and I needed a job. And I needed that. And I needed that in my early recovery. And there's a lot of things that I needed that I didn't know I needed, like, you know, Jason telling us to make the bed every morning and things like that. And then, you know, just those habits that we form. But I enjoyed the job. No, it wasn't, you know, glamorous work, but it was honest work. And at the end of the day, I could actually sit back and say I did something.
It's good money too.
Yeah, it was pretty good money.
You know, I remember Chris was like, man, I can make in one day doing that what I made in like 4 working at the restaurant, washing dishes, you know.
Yeah, there's good money in it, but you got to work hard. You know, and Chris is a hard worker. I know he is. But that's the thing, in early recovery, you have to, in recovery period, you have to be able to pay the bills.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
And not that I'm going to talk for Chris, but I'm going to talk for Chris. When he started, like you said, you know, it's a good day's work. There's value in it. And he found himself liking that and finding something new in himself. So he ended up like having opportunities with that company, you know, more than just shoveling and throwing snow and throwing salt, you know, like he kind of stepped up and made his way in that company. And then if you go back to using, you lose the things you have just as quick, if not quicker, you know, and he had to kind of go through that route too. But hopefully he can find his way and it'd be good again. I still love Chris. I got a lot of love for Chris. I hope he's well. Hope things work out for him. But
right on.
You know,
how about you? Have you ever had a job that you weren't particularly, you know, wasn't glamorous, but you did?
Me?
Yeah.
In recovery?
In recovery.
No, it was glamorous.
No. You live that glamorous life? You about that lifestyle.
Well, I got lucky is what happened. Jesus.
Well, Mr. Corey, didn't Mondays we went to go move some church pews?
No, yeah. I was a co-manager of a recovery home. That kind of wasn't that glamorous, but no, actually, I learned so much with that.
Yeah,
well, that's where I met Tyrone, and yeah, one time this the guy who owned the house was like, "Hey, man, I need you to go out there and move these church pews." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't do that. Got a bad back." He's like, "Well, come on, just come with. I need you to step up. You know, just come with to show the guys." I'm like, "All right, I'm not moving anything, but okay."
I'm not moving anything.
And me and Tyrone just sat around, just stood there because we weren't moving nothing. We were like, "All right."
Supervising.
Yeah, like, come on, Chris, move that. Dustin, get over there. I don't think Dustin was in there at the time, but yeah, I was like, no, I have a bad back. I think I went to grab it once and my back did kind of hurt. I was like, yeah, I'm going to sue everybody. So they're like, yeah, we don't need that. But no, like when I got out of treatment with sober living, I thought I was going to work at the resort there in Boyne City. And I had all my eggs in one basket and was like, well, I'll just wait for that. And I went and interviewed. And it went all right. I mean, I didn't knock it out of the park or nothing, but I just thought, okay, I'll get that job. And it took like 2 weeks for it to come back, and it came back, and they said, no, we're not going to hire you because I had an OWI. And I was like, what?
Oh.
Like, when I'm interviewing to be a hotel clerk or whatever, I was like, how does my OWI have anything to do with that? So that kind of had an oh shit moment there for a minute. And because rent was due, and Jason, he likes to get them pockets full. You know, he's not running a charity there. It's a business. And it's a good thing, you know, because it keeps us accountable.
That's right.
And so I was like, oh, Lord. So I just applied for like every job under the sun. And Jason had a rule, Nathan's house. You can't work third shift. And we all went through this one. I mean, there were so many guys that went to this place that were like, hey, this is a job for me. It's third shift. It was like taking care of old people or something. And I was like, Jason, I can do this job and they'll hire me if I, and Jason's like, nope, you can't do it. Nope. Like, damn it. And then I got a call from the RV resort in Petoskey. Hearthside Grove is the name of the place. It was a beautiful place. And I had no idea what an RV resort was. I just thought it was trailer park or something, that I'd be hanging out at a trailer park all summer. I'm like, okay. And the guy was like, why don't you come check it out, see if you even want to spend the summer here. And I'm like, okay. So I drive in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like Disneyland for like rich people. And like it was nuts. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, Jesus is a big fan of mine, and he connected me with Kirk Rose and Hearthside Grove, and yeah, so it was very nice, And I was fortunate enough to have a car, to get me back and forth to work. So yeah, but I was ready though. I was ready to take whatever, man. Because Jason was standing there with his hand out, and I got the job, and Jason's like, okay, I'll give you a week, because I thought I had worked, because I had given him more than what the first month was. So I thought I had till the 15th of the next month. He's like, yeah, you might think you're paid up to the 15th, but it's all due on the 1st. And I was like, what?
But it's not called rent. It's called shared living expense.
Yeah. Well, I needed my shared living expense on the 1st. And I was like, yeah, but I paid you this from last month, so I'm up to the 15th. He's like, nope, it's all due on the 1st. So I was like, oh, okay. But then that was the good thing about Jason, because he wasn't letting people slide.
You can't. You got a house full of alcoholics and addicts, It was scam people. That's what we used to do.
It was the same rule for me that it was for my buddy Rob, that it was for everybody else in that house, for Matt and everybody. So, like, why would it be different for me? And that's the thing. And especially in early recovery, just give me a break, man. And I see it and I hear it a lot about, what? So I've been here 6 months, but I need another 3 months, just let it slide for me, and it's all that. And it's like, well, no. This is how you learn. This is how you grow.
No, yeah, he's running a business at the end of the day.
And then, Mr. Winfield, I remember one occasion. I'm going to go way back, Winfield.
Okay.
You ready for this one?
I think so.
I remember one time, Naveed. I peeped Naveed out. I knew Naveed didn't count his money. And so I shorted him $50. I said, Winfield, I shorted Naveed $50, and it's been 3 days, and he had never come back and say nothing. And you said, Tyrone, part of recovery is being honest. You should give him his money back. And I thought about it, and I said, I just won't do it again to him, man. But you remember that one, too?
Yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah. Because I seen how Naveed do. Because as being an addict, we watch other people move, and I see somebody getting some rent. A couple people getting rent. He don't even count it. He just throw it in his pocket. Throw it in his pocket. I said, oh, I know how to get an extra $50 to buy a pair of gym shoes. I shorten Naveed.
Yeah, Joey tried that with me because I didn't like collecting rent either. And
yep, I remember that.
Joey showed to me like $20 or 40 or something, and I was like, bro, you short 20. You might want to give that to Naveed. I already gave him the other stuff, but you're short. So. Oh, I am? I was? Yeah, you idiot. But yeah, but that was his, and Joey was kind of snake like that too, a little bit, and I mean, you can call it a snake like that, or you can just say he was trying to push the system.
Being dishonest.
Just to see. I don't know. Just to test it. I don't know.
Well, listen, man, addicts and alcoholics, I know how we are. I mean, especially in early recovery, it's still got those same old habits and traits that follow us. You know what I mean? And one of them is that hustle. And if I can hustle, then I can hustle. And so we got that hustle about us, man. And so guys like Jason that run a place like that, it's got to be on the 1st, and you got to have the money. You know what I mean? And that's, like you said, that's part of the accountability. And we all need that.
Oh, yeah, we do. But I was at kind of a different house than Jason. You know, Jason had real structure there. At the V house, it was kind of loose. We were real loose there. You know, we had a garage for a motel, 3 blankets.
I remember. I visited you guys a few times, and one time there were blankets in the garage. I was like, okay.
And you know, and in a house like that there, you get real loose, and then your old habits start coming back. We had a guy who had a motorcycle, and something happened to him, and he kept his motorcycle in the garage for months. And all he did was just sit there in the chair. I was thinking, damn, Corey, is he glued to the chair or what? Is this chair his buddy or what? and you know, Jason's house was more stern. Our house was, it was a relapsable house. Well, it was a relapsable house. Because we had one guy, I forget his name, he was walking around with a bottle in his pocket.
Just to be fair, though, hold on. I wasn't there at that time. Like, I was no longer there. And the other thing, though, I had to back up because the dude on the couch, like most places, well, not most places, but some places, like the house that we were in, Nathan's house, 9 a.m., you're out of bed. You're not just laying around in bed. You're doing something. Well, we had that same kind of rule at the house that I was co-manager of, but that dude would just take it from the bed to the chair or the couch and just fall asleep right there. And I'd say stuff a lot to the owner. I'm like, dude, he's still in bed, bro. Like, this is not acceptable. Guys are getting pissed, and he'd come over there and be like, all right. And dude was taking too much of his medicine. I don't know what the F was the problem, but it was unacceptable. And those people weed themselves out, and he did. He weeded himself out.
Shitbirds.
Yeah, and then the blanket situation, like that's what kind of tipped us off as we got home one day and there was blankets in the garage. And like at that place and some other places too, when people leave, like what's stopping them from coming back? You know, so like when we came home one day from shopping and Tyrone saw the blankets in the garage and was like, whoa, and we thought that somebody that we had kicked out prior came back and was just sleeping in the garage. Okay. So I was like, all right, well, I got a key to the garage, so I'm going to start locking it up because we just thought that people were sleeping in there. And so I'm locking it up, and this dude named Thomas comes running. I think his real name is Mike or something. He's a real sketchy dude. Comes running out, and he's like, what are you doing, man? I was like, I'm locking the garage, man. You know, somebody's got their blankets and stuff in there. He's like, no, man. No, that's for me. My girl's coming over later, man. Ryan said it was okay if we hook up in there. I was like, what? And then he whips out his money. He's like, how much do you want? How much do you want? You know? And I was like, what? He's like, Ryan said it was okay. How much do you want? I was like, I'm not taking your money, dude. Oh. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll leave it unlocked, but you know the rules. And I went in immediately and talked to Ryan, and I was like, Ryan, that is not what we're doing here. You took money from that dude to let him bang his girlfriend in the garage? And Ryan, he started, well, Chris does this and that in the parking lot. I'm like, that's different, bro. And I'm not talking about Chris. And I'm talking about you. You took money from that dude. And he's like, well, you know. And I was like, that's unacceptable, dude. And then I talked to my therapist about it, and she's like, well, you got to tell the owner. You got to tell the owner of the house what happened. Right. And the owner called me because it was funny. I was down state with Marnie, and we were telling my mom, hey, she's pregnant, you know. And I get a call from the owner, Naveed, you know, and he's like, man, Ryan's acting funny. And I was like, yeah, I was going to talk to you about some stuff. He's like, all right, I'll talk to you, you know, on Tuesday before the meeting. I was like, okay, sounds good. Well, he didn't show up on time for the meeting. He showed up a little bit late, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him for the meeting. And my therapist had told me to tell Ryan, you know, that I was going to tell Naveed about the situation with the garage. And so I did. And Ryan pulled that scumbag dude in the room with him, and they're in there talking, trying to get their story straight, you know. And then during the meeting, the dude like makes this crazy point about Corey calls women bitches, and I can't be here with Corey calling women bitches. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like he was like trying to put up a smoke screen, you know?
Yeah.
And then he starts going off
gaslighting.
Yeah, he starts going off about this and that, and I wasn't hugged up on no girl. And it was actually Chris that was one that had said that, and Chris was like, I said that, and Ryan's just sitting there not doing nothing. And then after the meeting, Ryan grabs Naveed and goes outside with him. And so I think he told Naveed pretty much, I don't know what he told Naveed. I'm assuming he said like, oh, Corey was taking money to have sex so he could have sex with this girl, this guy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure he flipped it around. Well, that's what caused Ryan to go on the outs. And I don't think I've ever told that whole story on the podcast before, but then Naveed comes to me afterward and, was like, I'm going to go with one manager. And I was like, shit. He's going to go with me. And then he's like, I'm going to go with Ryan. And then my pride was hurt because I'm like, what? You're going to go with that dude? But then I was like, you know what? My girlfriend just told me she's pregnant. I told Naveed I'd do it a year. And I didn't want to do it a year. And it was an out for me. So I didn't even tell him about the Ryan thing. I was just like, all right, man. See ya. Sounds good.
Well, you didn't have to because that place ended up dissolving and melting away.
Yeah. But you know what?
It's sad, but it is what it is, and it could have been, had you been given the opportunity to run it in the way that you wanted to. I know it would have been a lot like Jason's house or Nathan's house. I mean, so I have no doubt about it.
But you know what, Adam? I'm gonna tell you this though. I'm gonna tell you about Mr. Winfield. When that happened to Corey. And, me and Corey wasn't really tight. We didn't really talk as much as we did like we do now. And when that happened to Corey, and me and Chris say, wow, look at that there. Corey was the one who was keeping the rules on it, keeping the refrigerator clean, make sure the plates all clean up. But he got rid of the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And so I said, man, and then so when we see how Corey came up real fast. He got him up drugs. I don't know how he got all his money. He got this little motel. I mean, he didn't let it stop him. He didn't let what Naveed did stop him because Naveed did him wrong. And Corey he didn't look back. He kept progressing. Kept going. And that there made me, I said, man, look at this dude here, man. It's possible. Look at Winfield. He probably was a little upset when he left, but it didn't stop his mission. Corey was on a mission. He was on a mission, a mission like Ryan's not on.
No, I was. And, like I said, at first my pride was hurt, but looking at the big picture of it, and I texted Marnie right after the meeting that Naveed had with me, and I was like, well, I'm not the manager no more. They're going with one manager. They're going with Ryan, and she wrote back, she's like, well, I can't say that I'm upset about that, and I'm like, perfect, and everything happens how it's supposed to, and, like...
It does.
Just all of it, you just got to take your pride sometimes and set it aside and realize, okay, what's the big picture here? Like I wasn't going to run that house forever. I didn't want to run that house forever. And noticing like little things about how come they weren't a Michigan part of MAR, the Michigan Association of Recovery Residences is like a organization that Northern Michigan Regional Entity will refund you, to get your license through them. Or to get certified through them. And then once you're certified through them, that means you have standards. That means that you have everything legit.
Right.
And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go through it. Well, I think it's because of his record and because maybe Ryan's record with the law that they couldn't get certified.
Oh, I understand.
So, here I am like trying to like, how come you guys are not doing this? How come we're not doing this? And it's just one of those things that, that's not my job. It's not up to me. And my job was just to keep guys in there straight and to help them out, take them to the food bank, set an example, lead by example was my thing there. I wouldn't go tell the guys to do stuff. And Tyrone called me out on that once, when I was going to quit the old Chinese restaurant place that I used to work at. Some people call it Bear River. And it was just a nasty old Chinese restaurant, in my opinion. And it was, I just was like, nope, I'm done. I've had it. That place is messing with my sobriety. I'm just going to go home for Christmas and not come back, just not show up to work. And Tyrone's like, oh, okay, Mr. Winfield, that's cool that you tell us that if we say something, we say we're going to do it, we got to do it, but you don't have to do that. Then do you? And I was like, what? He's like, oh, damn
Good
you,
point.
Tyrone. Damn you. But I'm glad. I'm glad I did it that way. And I'm glad I came back and worked and then demanded my 90-day review so I could quit. And it was just so happy. It was the most freeing ride home ever. You know, I was so excited. I had the weekend off now. I didn't have a job, but I didn't care.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
But you know, Winfield, you know, at that place, everybody thought that you was gonna fail. And, you know how Naveed did you, how he just put you out like that. You know, everybody thought you was gonna fail, but no. But Corey kept his head up. You kept talking to us, and you know, and I remember you went home. I think you went back to Ben Harbor to go see your mom or something, and you came right back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Corey's a strong man. You know, because the enemies tried to set you up.
Yeah.
Enemies really tried to set you up, Corey.
You just got to look at the big picture and realize what your dreams are, you know, and that's something that I did. And, you know, the big picture, it didn't involve that place. You know, big picture, you know, making friends that last a lifetime, like you, Tyrone, you know, like that's a plus and perk of it all. But, you know, as far as like that being in my future plans, that wasn't in my plans. That just kind of something I stumbled across, you know, and it was like, okay, sure.
But you know, Winfield,
like, we can sit at one point in life and wonder how we're going to make it work and wonder how it's all going to come together, and life just has a way of working itself out.
Yeah,
it sure do.
God does that.
It truly does.
Because I came to Winfield. I said, man, Winfield, how can this dude here to bring these girls in? What about us? How can we do it? And you know, and Winfield really stopped that house from being a whorehouse.
I did.
Yeah, he did. You really did. You stopped it. Because that could affect them. You know, that could have messed up everybody's recovery in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and you stopped it by you stopping it, and then you leave. That's a sign there, Maybe he wanted his house to be like that. Because I was hearing people say it was another house like that in Petoskey or something.
Yeah.
Where you come up dirty, you have to pay $120 or something. But you know though, Winfield. But you keep rule and you keep order. And you know, and maybe the last owner of the house we was at, man, no mention of name. You know, maybe he ain't for that. You know, he just wanted just a wild out whorehouse. That's what he probably wanted.
I don't know. I was just trying to lead by example, man.
But you, Winfield, I mean, you came in there and you seen what was going on, and you put it out there, and look who's thriving now. You know.
Yeah, and I remember one time, because like the rule was, you know, you couldn't have, you know, women over or whatever,
right? And
because like there were guys that they would just have their girlfriends come and they would just like lay up all on the couch, and it's like, hey, unacceptable, you know, like that's not happening here. So we changed the rule to like no girlfriends over or whatever, and then I brought Marnie over, and I remember you made up some wings for everybody, and
right.
I was waiting for somebody to say something, and then finally that Brandon guy did. He's like, oh, Corey, you can have your girlfriend over, but I can't have mine. Exactly. Because I'm showing you guys how to do it. Marnie wasn't all hugged up on me. I think I had her weeding some cricket machine shirts and stuff. You know, like she was like making coleslaw. Like that's how a normal relationship would work. Not just, hey, come over here with my 18 roommates and let's suck face on the couch. Like that's unacceptable. And I was trying to show them this is how a relationship should be. This is how it should look. And you know, the owner never said anything to me about it, but I was like, yeah, that's because I'm trying to show you guys this is how this is normal. You know, what you guys were doing, like just trying to play finger bang underneath the blanket on the couch in front of the whole house. It's not how it goes. That's unacceptable.
But you know, Corey, but that was but you know, those Corey, you know, and one thing I can say about that though is, Corey, at least you wasn't fake. You know, you was 100% real with it.
Yeah.
You was 100% real, and I appreciate that. You know, And then it seemed like after you left, wow, man, the brick really came up underneath the place then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the guy's girlfriend, now she's drinking everywhere. And then we had this other guy in there. He had a great big old bottle running around, and they trying to find that alcohol tester. They come to find out it's with the owner.
Oh, the breathalyzer machine.
Yeah, the breathalyzer. Yeah, it's with the owner. Trying to test his girlfriend, and so then Corey, I had an apartment. I had them apartments was across the street there, them senior citizen apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had some like couple weeks to go to get in there. And then that's when everything came down, Corey.
Yeah.
I was already approved and everything.
I remember.
Yeah, I was approved and everything. But you know, Corey, but that's how life is for an addicted person. You know, you go through trials and tribulations. You know, and you gotta learn. You gotta learn. Remember that. And if you see somebody else going in that route there, all you can do is just give them an example of what happened to you, you know?
Yep. And things...
But Corey, Corey, at that house, you really set the standards there. When we first got there, you really set the standards there. But again, I think the Motel 26 thing. I think that was the whole downfall of it right there.
Yeah.
That was the whole downfall.
Yeah. Well, you can look at like downfall or new opportunities for everybody, but yeah.
But you know what though, Corey? I also learned too, though, Corey, things happen because when that happened to you, you know. I remember you was telling me that, you know, you was you had a lot of things going for yourself. You was going to school, you was doing it online and stuff, but you know, you didn't quit a beat, you know, you still went to school online and you found you some housing, temporary, and you didn't use, Corey.
Nope. I finished up the 501c3 thing, sent that off. Well, I sent that off, I think, in January. But then I got it in May. So we were already moving in Traverse City in here. And I thought, yay, we got it. So, but yeah, it was crazy, man. I like I said, I was looking at big picture and, you know, you just got to keep moving and you can't expect other people to understand how big your dreams are. You know, like a lot of people don't understand.
You know what, Corey? Again, you know what the weird part, all of it was, when I went to jail and I came back out of jail and you moved to Traverse City, again, all these names you was telling me up in Traverse City, all from Nathan's house and stuff, you know. I said, yeah, what Corey do? He went and recruited these guys. But, you know, but they follow the winner, though, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they follow the winner. And you took a lot of them under your wing, you know. You know, you took a lot of them under your wing, and, you know, but I couldn't believe all the people up in Traverse City. I said, whoa, what the heck? All the boys in city up in Traverse City now. Kind of funny, you know.
Except Adam, he's in Gaylord.
Gaylord.
Yeah.
Gaylord for those people who spell.
I'm going to start, just for you, Corey, I'm going to start pronouncing it Gaylord.
I can get you a shirt and I'll put Gay. You want LE or LURD?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'll have to go to E.
All right, I'll put Gaylord High School.
Love it.
I'll start selling those on the street corners.
People buy them too. You'd be surprised, man. You're gonna make bank.
First time I saw a guy wearing a shirt, it was my friend Ricky, and he's this big buff black dude, and he was at the old Chinese food restaurant place that I was at, and we were in there together, and he comes down, he's wearing this shirt that said Gaylord, and I was like, dude, like, I don't know if that's appropriate, you know, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, your shirt, man, saying you're a Gaylord? I was like, no, it's Gaylord. It's football. It's high school shirt. I was like, what? That's a city. That's a city.
Understand.
Okay. Thought you were trying to make fun of gay people, I thought, okay. All right, now I understand. But why do you keep calling it Gaylord? Then, and that's when the confusion began.
Big controversy.
Like when they sit down to do their city commission meetings and stuff, they go, okay, I call to order this commission of Gaylord. Or did they say Gaylord? I'm gonna go to one of their meetings. We should go together, all three of us, and record it. And I'll say, I have a public comment. Can we change the name of the city back to Gaylord?
But you know what, though, Winfield?
Yeah.
I'm glad we got Mr. Brothers. And now Mr. Brothers, Courtney took us to a Funny Guy concert. We went to Lansing. And now we include Mr. Brothers in our stuff now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are doing fun stuff.
With us now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the only thing I didn't agree with Corey about, the guy we went to go see in Traverse City, he wasn't as funny as this guy was in Lansing. The guy in Lansing, man, I thought he was the bomb.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Corey didn't like him. I thought he was the bomb.
I wasn't a big fan. What was his name? See, you don't even remember his name either.
As a matter of fact, Justin bought all his tapes from me.
He did. He gave us one. He was like, hey, and I'm like, I don't have a DVD player. Mark. It was Mark. His name. The comedian's name was Mark. Mark something. I don't know. The name escapes me.
And he was funny, man. He was funny as heck, man. That dude there.
The guys in Traverse City were funny.
Not like this guy.
Yeah, they were way funnier than that guy. And they knew that guy. Like they hung out with that guy before. Like they toured with him before. I can't remember his damn name. Anyway. Thanks for that,
Yeah,
Tyrone.
but Mr. Whitfield, you really came up in the recovery field. And look at all the rides, man, Whitfield, you coming big now.
I don't
Big things.
Your dream, your dream forming out.
Yeah, I mean, things are coming along like I think that like God wants them to, and it all kind of goes back to my grandma telling me back when I was in Arkansas that, I'm learning all the things that I was learning there, and I was going to use them for God one day, and she thought that meant that I would work at a Christian radio station, which I told her she was crazy. There's no way I would ever work at a Christian radio station. They wouldn't hire me. And there was a few times where I tried, I sent my tapes out and they didn't even call me back or even send me an email back, but I think this is what she meant, like helping other people, and establishing the podcast. And, it was a good foundation for me to do for myself to move myself forward. And then it just kind of opened other doors as well. So my grandma was absolutely right, and she told her that God told her that stuff, and that's so I just think, wow, that's crazy. And I have big, crazy dreams, so it's insane. But yeah, you got to keep the dreams there and keep the goals moving forward. Otherwise, what are you doing? I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe at some point I could be content, but I don't know. Like I'm always going to be chasing something.
That's right. That's a good thing.
Like
and Winfield, you're in a big city. You're in the big city, in a big growing city where there's a lot of older adults don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And, they understand what they're doing. Well, I could say it like this here. They don't understand, but they understand what they're dealing with. A lot of people is some older people dealing with their grandkids with drug and alcohol abuse. And I told you, I got one that's pending on you there. I'm gonna find out something Sunday about that, Because they don't know which way they don't know how to go about it. You know, and then they don't want other people to, they don't want the neighbors to know because they don't want to be embarrassed by their grandparents, by their grandkids, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, so you know, we appreciate you, you know?
Well, when I'm governor one day.
God
Governor
damn.
Winfield has a ring. I love it.
We were talking about it earlier. I said Tyrone could be my running mate. He'd be my lieutenant governor.
I can't be with a name like Winfield. With a name like Winfield, I can't be you the millionaire. I sure ain't no name. Winfield is.
But no, we were talking about how all the shit that would come out on us would be so hilarious. Like, Tyrone used to be a crackhead, you know, and have pictures, and who knows, people come out. I remember Tyrone, we used to smoke crack every day, you know. And
he still owes me money for crack.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that was us. Oh, Mr. Winfield, you tell your crack story. Oh, okay, I'll tell it. You know, we're like at a debate with somebody, and I'm breaking down why my buddy Matt had me never do crack again because of the situation I was put in, and this driving home from South Bend, I just was like, oh my God, I'm never doing that again. Like that could have ended so horribly wrong, you know. At this pimp staring over me, you know, going, "You got $50?" And I'm like, "No, you don't want to hit that." No, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, the pimp name wasn't Guido, was it?
It might have been. But I was like, hell no. Like, get me out of this. Like, I'll never doing that again. Not hanging out with Matt anymore.
But you know, Winfield, I remember when I got out of jail and I went back home, and I don't know what I went back for, you know, I really don't. But as soon as I walked down on Visca Road, you know, that's like where the script at, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, the main street. And everybody had their hand out for money. The girls left their shirts up, polluted. And I said, oh, no. I think I caught that bus, the next bus right back to Traverse City.
Yeah, you did, like that next day.
And I said, I ain't never going back there again. I mean, it just Winfield. It's just some places that, you know, they never change. You know, it never changes. You know, the people gonna be the same, and misery loves company.
Yeah,
misery loves company.
If you would have stayed there, you would have ended up right back in the same old shit.
Oh yeah, oh man, Winfield, man, oh yeah, oh yeah. But you know what, Winfield. But you know, Winfield, you could have told me that, Winfield. You probably could have told me that, and I would have said, "Oh, Winfield don't know what he's talking about." Blah 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 blah. But sometimes experience is the best. But I remember what you said though. When you told me that, I remember it because you're the type of person, Winfield. You let a person burn his own ass.
Yeah.
And you know, I listened to you what you said, and I said, God damn, Winfield, right? Look at you motherfuckers here. Shit, they probably wait for me to turn the corner so they could bust me in the head and rob me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Winfield, recovery, it's a lot of thinking going on, and you gotta be street smart. You gotta have sense.
Yeah, a guy I know just went out last weekend and relapsed and got his ass kicked. He jumped by like 6 people or something, 5 people. And it's like, well, one day, you know, like it'll hit you one day that this drinking stuff really isn't good, man. And I told him, I was like, you got to learn on your own. You know, one day you're gonna just say, I've had enough. Like this is like I get it. Like I get it. Nothing good happens. And I told him he can add that to his list of cons and his pros and cons list. You know, like there's way more cons than there are pros on that list. And one day, man, you know, with a little help from God, it'll all make sense to you, and you'll realize, no, I don't need drugs.
Yeah, you're right. And I think I've been on a couple. I learned a lot from you, Winfield. I was on one ride with you there. You picked up one of your best friends, and he was running me to Booth's phone place. and he was supposed to meet his girlfriend to get some money or something there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he tried to blame it on me by him missing his girlfriend almost. And yeah, he was you remember that, Corey?
Oh yeah. Yep.
He was a character, and I think he borrowed some money from you. Something gave $10, $20 there, and you heard the reach in the pocket and gave it to him and dropped him off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I said, like, here's $20, and because I knew he was going to buy alcohol with it, and I'm still waiting for him to this day to be like, hey man, remember that 20 I asked you for? But he hasn't yet, and he's still asking me for stuff sometimes. So I'm like, hey, whatever. But it's one of those things, and you know all too well, Tyrone. Like, I don't just give money away, but it's not borrowing. If someone's like, hey, can I borrow $20? No, you're either giving it to them or you're not. And it's one of those things that I'm just like, yeah, I gave it to him, but I'll see if it comes back one day. It was $20, not a big deal, but it's just something that I always keep in the back of my mind. Like, okay, we'll see if this dude's really on the up and up. And I'm sure there's people that gave me $20. I was waiting for the same in return. And when you're in active addiction, you forget about those things sometimes.
And I remember.
You do forget about them.
I also remember your buddy.
I still owe money to that I haven't. That I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember your buddy, Justin, something there.
Dustin.
I remember you, man. How many times you messed up Corey? He was right there by his side.
Yeah.
Until one day I seen him jump in the car with these great big old girls. I said, "Oh my God!" I had to call Winfield on that one. I said, "Winfield, your buddy took off in the car with these great big old girls." And the next thing you know, Winfield was calling me saying, "You almost had to go back and get him, or?"
Man,
Yeah, I said, man, that Corey, man. But you know, Corey, but you really stick, It's something about you, Corey. You don't let a person down. You just let them see what they're getting into it. Then, you rescue us.
Yeah,
but if you do it again, it's on you.
I mean, it's always on them, and that's something I've always told people. And I relapsed a lot. I let a lot of people down so many times, but those are lessons that I had to learn. I had to feel every single inch of that guilt and pain to be where I'm at today and to appreciate it. And a lot of times people say you got to go through the dark to see the light, and it's true. And so when people relapse, when people fail like that, I don't rub it in their face. I don't, I told you. I say, get back up. Right. I lend the hand to help them. And okay, now the walking part's on you. You got to get up. You got to walk. Like, let's go. And you fall down again. Okay, cool. I'll help you back up. But that's all I can do. Is give you a little help up. But that's it.
Hey, brother, Adam. You know what Winfield do? He even go to the TC house and talk to the guys. And I went there with him one day, and man, and these guys, man, they really like Winfield. Winfield tells them the truth. None of them wasn't late. They was all there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I couldn't believe that, brother. I couldn't believe that, Adam. I said, whoa, look at this here. And Corey,
gotta carry that message.
Yeah, and we would go from like 6 o'clock in the morning. Man, I said, damn, Winfield, are we going to rest now? Oh, I got a meeting at 6. Talk to these guys, man. and
awesome.
He gets the message out. He gets and these guys, they really look up to him, man, and, they never had nobody to really talk to him like that, you got a lot of people, when 4 o'clock comes, I'm going home. But Winfield, he sticks right there and he comes to talk with them, and they be looking forward to it.
But I mean, again, that's me being selfish though, because I do that for me. It keeps me sober. It reminds me of where I don't want to be, and And I can tell it to them like it is, like I'm not on staff, like nobody's paying me to be there. There's no incentive for me to be there, except I don't go on there and say, listen to my podcast. I don't say any of that stuff. I rarely even mention I have a podcast. I talk about 217 Recovery is a company that I started every once in a while. But yeah, it's just me giving it to them like how this is what it really is, and I don't know, it changes every week, but I always pray to God on my way in there, like give me something to talk about, and he always has, so that's good. But it's something I do for me, it really helps me out and keeps me sober to remind me of where I don't want to be again. And if one person can hear something that I say and maybe turn it around, like the guys that I listened to, I remember this one guy in Grand Rapids. He went to every treatment center I was at in Grand Rapids, and I would see him. He always wears Michigan stuff. I want to say his name was Mike, but I don't think it is. But anyway, he would come in there, and I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, this is the 4th treatment center in Grand Rapids I've been at. You come to all of them, like, what are you doing? And he kind of said the same thing. Like, he does it to keep himself sober. And
hey, that wasn't the guy I met in Lansing, was it?
No.
Okay. He had some tight pockets there.
Oh, no, you're talking about Ray. No, Ray is from the Benton Harbor area. We lives in South Bend.
Okay.
No, he was the guy he was the recovery coach that pulled me in before I went to the nasty Chinese food restaurant place.
Okay.
As I was like walking out the door, he's like, Corey, get in here for a minute. I was like, what's up? And he's like, what's it going to take for you to never drink again? And I was going to spit out that bullshit about, well, once I have kids and get married, and he like shushed me. He's like, shut up. He's like, I'm not even asking you to answer that right now. I want you to answer that to yourself. He's like, you got a long bus ride up to Boyne City. He's like, think about that. What's it going to take? What are you going to put above drinking? And okay. So I thought about it, and then that's when it occurred to me. The only thing I put above drinking was being on the radio. So that's when I was like, well, I should probably start a podcast.
There you go.
But that was very crucial to me. And I just talked to him the other day. He's trying to start a nonprofit down in Southwest Michigan and wants to make it into a recovery community organization. So I helped him out with like all the paperwork for that and all the stuff that I was wishing people would help me out with that no one did. But I was able to. So he was like, he was like, how funny is that though? He was like, you were such a mess, and look at you now. And now you're helping me out with putting my nonprofit stuff together. I'm like, yeah, man, isn't that crazy how life works?
Yeah. And I'm glad for Mr. Brothers. I'm glad for Mr. Brothers there. Mm-hmm. He got my podcast. I told Jason about that. He said, wow, Mr. Brothers even coming up. I call him my brother now, Winfield.
God damn.
I call him my brother now. I say my brother.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's great that Adam has a podcast, and like we talked about earlier on the podcast that we didn't air because we kept getting interrupted, Tyrone. But yeah, we were talking about your podcast, Adam, and just about how it's not perfect yet, but you can dial it in, and doing the first one is the hardest, get that one out of the way, and the rest is gravy. And yeah, you're going to hear some, or you don't like this or don't like that or whatever. It doesn't sound perfect to you, but you know what? Cut yourself some slack, man. You're just starting out. And I remember there was a time where we had these microphones, but I kept hearing like this buzz, and Marnie was like, "Oh, it's fine," and I'm like, "No, it's not. Gotta dial it in. Gotta figure it out. You know what's going on." And even to this day, sometimes I'll be like, I don't like the way my mic sounds because we have different microphones and they cost about the same. I mean, it's way different than the $29 microphone we started out with. Yeah. But it's like, oh, I got to dial it in a little bit more, or I sound like I'm far off from the mic and you sound real close. I got to figure it out, But those are good problems to have.
Yes, they are.
Where am I going to sleep? How are we going to pay the electric? Like those are horrible problems to have. Where am I going to get my next bottle? How can I stop this shaking? Ugh.
Been there, done that.
These are way better problems.
Like, my biggest problem today is trying to drive the gain on the board.
Yeah. Oh darn.
Oh darn! I know, right?
Yeah,
I know. And I'm blessed. I'm able to go and get what I need. I need those gain inline filters, those FET heads, and I'm going to be getting those soon. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm going to be really happy to have them in my little hands.
Hell yeah!
Because it's going to make me sound better.
Yeah, and it just keep building off of that, man. And Next thing you know, you're sitting there in a studio that's just badass, and you can record your badass songs in and do your podcast. It's just, you're going to have so much stuff, and not just material things,
Right.
but just you're going to have so much pride and look what you're doing and look what you started. And it becomes a thing of like, you don't even look, I don't ever look at numbers anymore. How many people listen? I don't know. 2.
Right.
My mom and my aunt. That's all I know. You know, maybe Tyrone when I tell him to, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not about that. You know, it's about getting a message out. And if somebody hears something, they'll share it with somebody. You know, they'll pass it along.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's good. You know, I was listening to this one podcast. This guy told me to listen to. It was, Hell has an exit or something like that. They're out of Florida, and I turned it on. I couldn't even get past the first 2 minutes of it because it was all about this podcast is brought to you by this treatment center and blah blah. I was like, ugh, like no thanks.
Really?
Yeah, and to me, I couldn't ever take money for this because it would ruin it. Because then if they told me I couldn't have my man Tyrone on because he says, "God damn," or "Man, shit," or you know, like I would be like, "No, I'm not going to take your money for that. No, thanks. This isn't about money. I don't do this for money.
Right.
I don't even like. We could click the little button to have Spreaker play ads at the beginning. No, I want someone to hear a message. And sometimes it's about time travel. Sometimes it is. You know, but
you know though, Winfield, but you got to hook Mr. Brothers up with the voices there. Marnie's dad made good voices. Corey's up there.
That's funny.
Yeah, Corey, man. He may see that. You know, you get hooked on though, Adam, don't worry. You got the right man in your corner there.
Yeah, I've always told Adam I'd help him out with whatever he needs, and so far I hope I haven't disappointed.
No, you have not
got the funny
disappointed.
voice.
You have not
But
disappointed.
my
I love
favorite
doing
one
the
is,
podcast.
my favorite one is, brothers, is your voice. With a name Larry Winfield, how can you be broke?
Sounds like a billionaire.
Yeah.
It does. He's got a bougie last name. It's bougie.
Oh my gosh.
Corey's good at that, man. Corey's a genius.
All right.
Corey's a man.
I appreciate that, Tyrone. I really do.
All right, Winfield. Hey, Winfield, I'm ready to get out of here, Winfield.
All right, yeah. You go get some sleep, Tyrone.
Yup, and you, Jason, get some of them voices from Winfield. He got a ton of them. He's the master at it.
All right, thanks for joining us, Tyrone.
All right, you too, Jay. You too, Mr. Brothers. I'm glad talking to you, man. Keep up the good work.
See you, buddy.
All right, Adam. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
That was interesting. Great. That was fun. I hope. I don't know. I hope it didn't turn too much of a Corey, you're cool podcast, but
nah,
you know, like I never shared that story before, really. I don't think.
And I'm glad you did.
About what happened there at the recovery home, but that's what happened, and you know, it is what it is. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad that it did happen. You know, it's one of those moments where, in that moment, like I said, my pride was hurt, but it wasn't hurt for that long,
right?
But I wouldn't change a thing about it. You know, it's.
Well, your pride was hurt because you had integrity, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it would be unnatural if it wasn't hurt, I guess.
Correct. You know, so, and you had integrity in the whole situation. Yeah. You know, but it worked out the way it's supposed to work out, and you did what you were supposed to at the end of the day.
It's like this.
That's what matters.
There's a situation that my little brother ran into with his girlfriend. They were going to get married, like back in the day. Not his wife now is amazing, and he wouldn't change a thing. But it's pretty much like a couple of days before the wedding. It's like, nope, they called it off, you know. And he was crushed. He was hurt, and now he looks back at like, oh my God, I dodged a bullet, you know. But you look at it in that moment though. he was crushed. You know, he thought it was probably the worst day of his life, the worst thing that's ever happened to him. But looking back at it, he looks at it now probably is like, that's one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Yep. Unanswered prayer.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you might be in a situation where you're like, oh my God, how can I ever get out of this? This is the worst ever. It could actually be the beginning of the best thing ever. So it's,
I've been there a time or two, my friend. Mm-hmm. Throwing up a lot of foxhole prayers.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them. But yeah.
But when it all works out how it's supposed to, you look back and go, thank God. Like, thank you.
God.
Thank you for saving me.
I know. I'm so happy right now, and I can't imagine my life being any different than what it is today. And there's been that situation, too, where I've dodged the bullet or two, and I just thank God.
Yeah.
I thank God, man. You know?
So many different ways. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's nuts, but yeah, just keep moving forward, man. And I'm excited to see the stuff that you're going to be putting out soon. And, you know, I just love listening to your podcast because it's real. It's from the heart, it's from the soul. And that's what it's about, man. You know,
well,
like,
thank you.
You don't have to have a radio voice. You don't have to have the sponsors coming in with, no, that doesn't matter. It's the message that you're getting out. And that's what I love about it. And when, like I said, when I heard the first episode, I'm like, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what I just kept saying over and over. And I was just so excited. I couldn't wait to tell Marnie about it. You know, I was just like, hey, this is. But yeah, you'll get things dialed in.
It's going to get better.
Yeah, you'll get things dialed in. You'll get down to a routine, and you know you're doing them once a week, and I think that's great. You know, you're not gonna don't kill yourself with it, you know, but just do it once a week and put out a good product and from the heart. And I think the Stone Soup Recovery Podcast will be a big deal.
Thank you. I do too, and I'm having a blast doing it. I really am.
Yeah, and I appreciate you jumping on these with me every once in a while too.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
You're like my unofficial guest, but you're official. My unofficial official guest.
There you go. I need that on a T-shirt or on the back of the director's chair.
I'll put on the Gaylord shirt. I'm gonna make you a Gaylord High School. Dude,
I love it.
I bet if you worked like Meyer or something in there in Gaylord, I bet people would look at you funny. We should record it.
Facebook profile.
I'm gonna make you a Gaylord High School shirt. High school football, and then I'll record you wearing it around Meyer and see how many people ask you, where'd you get that from?
That's awesome. Let's do it. I'm down like a fat man on a teeter-totter. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks again, Adam, for joining me on the podcast tonight. And
thank you for having me.
We'll holla at you later. And then, yeah, when is your new episode publish?
We're going to publish Monday. Okay. We record tomorrow and we publish Monday.
All right, Mondays. Stone Soup Recovery Podcast.
Stone Soup Recovery Podcast.
Check it out. Cool. All right, Adam. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.